So what's up, YouTube? In this video, I interviewed my client, Rafael. Him and his wife started their Airbnb company, Villanola, just this past year. They started with zero experience in real estate as they work as pediatric nurses. And to date, they've done nearly $50,000 in bookings. Let's get into it.
After we became nurses, a lot of people kept giving us advice to invest a difference because now there's a bit of an increase in salary. And everybody kept saying real estate. So we kept searching the different forms of real estate. We were looking at things like wholesaling, flipping houses and stuff like that. Long-term rental was probably the last stop before this stop. But I didn't like the model of like tenants, long-term. I know people that do long-term and then it's a little bit more difficult with the tenants. So I thought about, well, there has to be another option. And then I came across Airbnb. And I kept out for a few months. We were researching and we were looking at different people, different things. It seemed like a not easy process, but a simple process. So we were trying to find somebody that can help me get into the process. And then I came across your channel. And then the rest is still
going.
Yeah, it's all good.
Okay. So you guys have pretty much got a career as a pediatric nurse, you and your wife, at a massive, salary increase there. And so, just kind of following the advice of your family and friends. And they said, invest in real estate. You guys need to be kind of doing this to get extra money.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's what we're doing right now.
How did you actually come across my page? Was it just on like social media or?
So like I always say, the phone is always listening. So I was at this point, I'm already searching, looking at videos, looking at things, and there were other coaches that were available, but there was something about you showed up in my Instagram ad, and in the interaction that we had, I felt like they kind of clicked in the interaction where I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just take a risk. I have more of a risky personality than my wife, so I'm like, you know what, let's just take a risk and see what happens. The worst that can happen, you probably just a little bit of money and that's it.
Yeah.
So then it's been great since then.
No, that's awesome. And yeah, I was going to ask that. How was it? What did it feel like actually pulling the trigger? So I remember that conversation. I think it was like maybe August or September, somewhere around that time frame. And I think your wife was on vacation with the kids.
Yeah.
Right. And so we had the initial call, and then she was on vacation with the kids, and she came back. You guys talked about it and pulled the trigger. How was it pulling the trigger?
Well, for me, it was a no-brainer to pull the trigger. I think on her end, she was very distant and just, let's see what happens. And that's your thing. I don't have nothing to do with it. But then as the time started passing by, especially once the funding came in, she was like, oh, okay, hold on. This looks a little bit more serious. She got more involved. And then once we actually went out and looked at the property, that's where she's been more hands-on. And it's kind of crazy because now she's actually more hands-on than me now.
Running the whole show now.
I'm pretty much like just make the final decisions, but she's pretty much the one that at this point is running everything.
Yeah. Well, shout out to Cassandra. She's one. So yeah, absolutely. So yeah, and we talked about that too. I think there was some, what's this business you got going on? But then yeah, we got approved for the business funding through one of our partners, and then she just instantly got more involved in the entire process. So no, that's super cool, man. So yeah, how was it? Yeah, let's talk about the actual journey of working together. So you came in and we started with like your business. We started with like the legitimized phase, right? So we set up the business and your fundability foundation, and then just kind of walk me through the steps of what that process was like.
I love that process because it wasn't like here's these PDFs and figure it out. And I've tried other online things where it's been that way, where it's been these PDFs and the person became unreachable, and that's it. That was the end of the whole quote unquote coaching. But with you, it was more week by week basis where we had certain milestones we needed to reach, certain like assignments, certain things to keep in mind to do. And I liked it because it really tailored to the way I learn. Like I can't learn anything if I don't have a systematic approach to it. So when it came down to, and that was one of the reasons why I didn't get into the other parts of real estate, because everybody that I knew that flips houses or does all these things, they pretty much just figured it out as they go. But I needed something. I needed a coach. I needed some type of systematic way that this is the steps that I need you to get to where we want to get to. and it made everything a lot less complicated. It's been seamless. Yeah, it's been real seamless from day one.
Man, no, that's awesome to hear, man. I love it. So yeah, I feel like it has. It was just smooth. I feel like it was just smooth. You know, the entire
Even the property was like super smooth. Getting the property was like, I was like, man, this is just falling in my lap, mother.
Okay, so we set up the business, and then we set up and structure the business. We do all the things on that end, and then we actually create the business plan. We start doing market research. We pull all the numbers from AirDNA and Price Labs market dashboards, and then let's talk about when we get to the point of the property, right? So we found this amazing property in one of the top markets in the United States.
Yeah.
Right. And let's talk about that process. Actually onboarding with the property, going in person to tour it, because this is a remote property, right? This is not New Jersey. So let's talk about that piece of it.
So, but the properties in Nashville, it was a lot of back and forth with the emails with the manager in Nashville. So there's a lot of back and forth, setting paperwork. These are the requirements, and then we went to see it. My wife wanted to see it, so she's kind of trusting me a little bit blindly. But at this point, she's like, I want to see it before we decide. And we went to see it. It was as good as the pictures, as good as advertised. And we loved it and decided to go for it. And originally it was going to be, I think it was going to be just one apartment. And it turned into 3. And, I'm riskier. So I'm like, yeah, let's go for it. Like, and then she's like, no, Josh first.
Yeah.
So we talked to you, and based off your advice, we went ahead and moved forward to 3. And we had to do a lot of paperwork in the process, but even pretty as well. The property manager was great and getting in contact with us, letting us know this is what's needed. And that's just my personality, though. I don't think it's super complicated if you have the right person that's going to walk you through it.
Yeah. And I remember like we were going back and forth with them. We'd have to provide some documentation, tax returns, W-9s, like official, company paperwork to do corporate onboarding. So,
and then afterwards, the state asked for a lot of documents. They asked for HOA documents. They asked for the buildings, and they asked for tax information, and they want their floor plans. Then after all that was submitted, then a fire marshal came in. He checked all 3 apartments. It was a quick process, and after that, we pretty much, like in 2 days, got our permits. That was seamless, because that was supposed to be 4 to 6 weeks, and it took 2 weeks at most.
Yeah, that's for the actual STR permit, short term, for everyone that's watching. That's a short term rental permit. So we're actually operating legit in the state of Tennessee, right? So went through that process with the building, and there were some even some things that we had to do there as far as getting a point of contact locally. Shout out to Juan if he's watching.
Oh yeah, he looked me up with that with the crew. They've been great since day one. Like, and one of the comments that we get in the personal reviews that only the host can see is the apartment looks just like the photos. So shout out to the cleaning crew, because they really, so far they've been keeping their end of delivering high quality and making sure that everything matches what we posted online.
Yep, absolutely. So cool, man. Okay, so then we get the board with the property, get the STR permits, all of that. So how was it actually touching down in Tennessee for the first time?
It was kind of funny. I'm originally from New York, and so I'm originally from New York, from the Bronx specifically, and been living in Jersey for a while, not right next to Philly. So when I went to Tennessee, it was a completely different feel. And people they know, they just knew, nobody looked like me. Nobody looked like me when we went over there, and then that's where I realized like that. I always think that I'm chilled, but when we went to Tennessee, I guess it stood out that I have that like that up north kind of personality. So yeah. So whenever we talked, it was just if you ever come to, if you're not from the northeast of the U.S., we're loud. Like, yeah, it's just loud. So imagine that, and then I'm Caribbean, so we're just loud all the time. And there were some stores that you wouldn't even hear a sound until we showed up.
Yes. Yeah. Nashville's pretty honky tonk. It's pretty,
Yeah. So so they saw me like this, a 6'3" Latino, just like, and then I look ambiguous, so you can't even tell. Like, Yeah, even locally, they don't know what I am. So imagine that. But they would just look at me, actually all of us. So because we all look like four random people.
Yeah.
Well, but it was interesting. It was the reactions of people were interesting.
Yeah.
So, but I'm there for the market, so it never phases me.
Yep, exactly. There to make money. Let's talk about working with the interior designer. You have a team up there in New York that you worked with in actually designing the properties, getting the design concept set up, and then actually doing it remote, right? So they flew in to Nashville and spent about a week or two setting all the units up, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so we've known each other for years in church, and I've seen her design a few things here and there, very small projects, and I got in contact with her. I told her what's about our business plan, and she was willing to come on board. She brought an assistant with her, and I see that there's other tutorials online that say that you can design things yourself, but that's just not. I'm aware that that's not my forte to design, because this whole house, if it was up to me, it would just be a bed and a TV, and we're happy. So I needed like an actual designer, and they've been great. We're great in the process. They really understood me. They understood my vision. They understood what was I trying to build with the branding in terms of the design. And it took us about a week and a half from ordering everything, having everything set up, and as we move forward, I think I'm gonna I know I'm definitely working with them. Carmen is her name.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, it's what I always preach, man. Work with a designer, like, it's our jobs, like as operators, right? As Airbnb operators and real estate investors, it's like outsource, right? We're the CEOs, so we can outsource like the housekeeping, the interior design, pretty much everything, right? So we can actually focus on the vision, focus on like strategy, high level stuff too.
It's a lot of work. The design thing. When I see videos that say do it yourself, I think they underestimate how much work that is. Like the whole time we were there, I just kept telling my wife, like, imagine if we had to do this.
Right.
Imagine, like, we would have been stressed. I think that at this point would have been like, you know what? I don't want to do this no more. But design team, they really took a lot off our shoulders with just doing that themselves.
Yeah.
Shout out to her husband, because he was pretty much like a one-man assembly team, and he was amazing. That's not my forte either. I get him flat real fast. I just thought, I'm like, you know what? Like this, I'm done with this. But he had the patience to really make sure everything was nicely set up for us.
Yeah, and came in to save the day. So that's awesome. It's okay. So then we get the unit set up about a month and a half ago or so, I would say, right? Yeah. And then we launched the listings, right? So you found a photographer, a local in Tennessee that specializes in vacation rentals and short-term rentals, right?
Yeah.
And how was that process?
Seamless as well. It was because he's already done it. Yeah. And in that building, there's other Airbnb operators, and they've used them as well. So he really knew his way around, and he took our pictures. I think that afterwards, we did ask him. There were certain rooms that the curtains were open, and we felt that room looked better with the curtains open. So we asked him just for that, and he was very helpful. He offered us a discount, and we still have him. We still have him in our contacts, because you never know in the summer if any design changes, or if something looks better from a certain angle in a different season, we might end up reusing him.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. Yeah, I think the best thing about hiring a professional photographer, number one, I mean, he knows how to market, right? He knows what angles and what shots, the spatial shots that you need, to optimize an Airbnb listing. And so, like, some of the shots that you have, not only in the units, but then also in the building too, right? The amenities, the pool, the entertainment areas. I think there's like a really nice like game room, or not even game room. It's like what is that? It's like a penthouse deck.
Yeah, they have like a billard and I don't know one of those. I don't know how you call those games.
Yeah. Yeah, and then that too, with him taking those shots, he can differentiate from the other operators in the building. You know what I mean?
And when we would take pictures with our phones when the design was done, and we was like, man, this looks beautiful on the phone. And I'm telling my wife, that photographer, if it resembles the phone, I want my money back. But you can tell the difference. It's a huge difference. It doesn't matter what latest iPhone you have. When it's professional, it stands out.
Yep. Exactly. And that's your branding, right? That's how you're marketing to guests. That's how you're getting clicks on your listing. Whatever.
We need the video for us.
Yeah, into the video, and you guys.
Yeah. So in our pictures, we have the last picture says scan QR code to watch the videos, or if your laptop, if you just copy paste the URL link. I don't know if that's been catching people's eye, but I think so. I wish there was a way to analyze that data, but giving them that option too. Sometimes people, they see the pictures, but sometimes videos give them that that comfort where like, okay, this is exactly as advertised.
Exactly. Yeah, virtual tour, and actually like envision themselves in the space, right? Especially if they're staying for long term, like a week or 2 weeks. It seems like you guys would get some really long bookings there.
Yeah, most of our bookings have been like that, a week, 2 weeks. The most I've seen is 2 weeks has been the longest so far.
That's great. Yeah. So, okay. So we get the photos and then we actually launch the listings. So let's talk about that process, because that was a little bit more tedious, right? Since we launched three listings at one time, and it's all the settings, the automation, the pricing.
Yeah, that one was a lot, because that was me. That wasn't the team couldn't help me. My wife couldn't help me. It was just me and you. So they were laughing at this point because when they were designing, I wasn't doing much. I was just making final decisions like, yeah, I like that or I don't like that. But now they were laughing. It was like, yeah, now you ain't got nobody to tell them what to do.
Is right.
But afterwards, once we launched and once we started getting the clients, and I started to see the importance of those automated messages, and it cut a lot of time down. And if you need to edit something or just find how to say things, you can always look at your messages and just tweak it around and just reuse that.
Yeah. No, exactly. Yeah, no, it's awesome. Yeah, it saves you a ton of time, especially because you guys are getting so many bookings at once. You know, I think you guys had about 7 bookings in like 24 or 48 hours. It was something like that.
Yeah, like right away, 7 bookings. And those 7 bookings, I think they were because I think at that point we had blocked out the dates or later on. But once we unblocked, that's where it got real for us, because it was right away. The most recent dates.
Yeah, it came flooding in literally. I remember. No, that is awesome. Yeah, okay.
It's been so much things that whenever there's quiet days, like today I think it's been 2 quiet days.
Yeah.
But then almost the whole month is booked almost for all 3 of them. So my wife, she sends me messages like, "Oh, nobody's been booking." I'm like, "Calm down. There's only been 2 days." That's how I can with them.
Yeah. Yeah, and they'll come in waves. You'll notice like now where you just get a bunch of bookings, and then it might be quiet for a day or so, and then you get a bunch more. So that's how the algorithm pushes. So that's awesome, man. Okay, so 3 listings are launched now. 3 luxury listings in Nashville, Tennessee. How's the experience been like actually hosting the guests and welcoming them? Have you guys had to make any tweaks to your process?
The biggest tweaks we've made have been with the quick messages.
Okay.
Just from the feedback, like some people you have to walk them through every single step. Our properties, they use these fob keys, and we have some older people may struggle a bit, so we included some videos that, hey, click on this video, this is how it works. Click on this video, this is how the elevator works. And that's probably has been the biggest tweak, walking them through the check-in process and parking process. And we've gotten a lot of we try to answer as fast as possible, and those have actually turned into bookings. So that's been another thing that we've kind of tweaked. And we have this rule between me and my wife where if inquiry comes in or something just outside of the norm comes in, if I don't answer within 10 minutes, she'll assume that, oh, he's unavailable. Go ahead and take care of it, and vice versa.
Yep. Speed to lead. So important, right? Especially in the game, because it's another listing and another listing, Yeah. Getting back to the guests and getting booked in. So awesome, man. So you guys are okay. So let's talk numbers. You guys literally just launched maybe a few weeks ago, 50% occupancy the first month, because right now your booking lead time for Nashville, I think it's 29 days. And so people are booking about a month out. We've been able to capture still just an amazing amount of bookings there. What do you guys at, like review wise and revenue wise, just the first few weeks since you launched?
So considering all the bookings that are still left for the month of March, what about 11,000 in revenue? You saying all 3 of them? One of our apartments is at 70% occupancy. Another one is at 58% occupancy, and another one is at 55% occupancy. and have been 4.8. We've gotten 5-6 reviews so far with a 4.8 rating. And the only reason it dropped, it was just it was more like a suggestion, but it wasn't a negative review. So even when you look at that 1 4-star review, the person says 10 out of 10, I recommend it. We're like, man, if this is considered a slow month, I wonder how it's going to be once the summer hits. Yeah. Once the busier months hit, it's probably easier.
Yeah. So over $11,000 in bookings, only about half occupied for the month because we just announced the listings and they don't have any reviews and we're climbing up the algorithm and all that. So yeah, we're gonna get it up to 15K a month, 20K a month, and then scale beyond. So no, that's awesome, man. Okay, cool. Well, wanted to talk to you too, just about like I say before working together, because now I have a full picture of kind of your experience. Like, what were some of the biggest challenges, before actually working together, investing in real estate and kind of getting into the space?
I think before starting at all, I think the biggest challenge was just a roadmap, because there was a lot of positives about the Airbnb arbitrage model, but then I would see a lot of negatives, and I feel like a lot has been mitigated because I had to really pretty much that's still walking me through the process. So I think the biggest was the roadmap. Then secondary to that was the capital, and then once we were able to have some capital to start with, that really took a lot out of our shoulders.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, businesses, they need capital to thrive, and to do it the right way, So I think that's huge, right? The roadmap and the capital. So, okay. And what has the payoff been like since investing and working with us?
A huge learning experience. And I mean, I'm really excited to see how things are going to play out, because for how it's looking so far, I mean, we launched March 1st, and the way it's been so far in the last 2.5 weeks, I'm like, man, this is crazy. Like, I want to see how it's going to be for the following months. So it's an exciting process for me.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, man. I love to see it. Yeah, you guys literally followed step by step, step, and this is awesome. Yeah, now you're seeing the payout. So it's cool to see the first booking, right? It's cool to see the first payout. Your Airbnb payouts have been released. It's cool to see the payouts compound, right? So from multiple units, different bookings and stuff like that, and the payouts get larger. Look in the business bank, there's actually money there, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, I can't wait because I know it will. I know it will get to a point where it's beyond just revenue. Yeah, that's where it's going to get even more fun. The idea for me is to keep growing and turn those 3 properties into 5, later 7, and see how far it can go.
Throughout this process, we talked about how building this business has affected your life outside of just Airbnb and real estate and the business. Can you touch on that a bit?
Man, in so many ways, it's made me more disciplined.
Sorry.
In order to be able to maintain our jobs as nurses, in order to be able to run an Airbnb business, and also we have 2 kids, 2 boys. Right. So if you're a parent and you have 2 boys, especially boys, you already know how it is. It's never quiet. It's never relaxed. They're always up and moving, and to be able to manage all that, and also we actually got involved in church again. So yeah, I volunteer as a musician. So to do all that, it requires you to really manage your time. And your time has to be, you have to manage it. And when I say we manage it, we have a book. We treat that like if it was a budget book, and it's always these are the things we need to do, these are the things we need to take care of. And in terms of work, different when you go to work and you're building towards a business versus just looking at the job, and that's your only present and future sole source of income. So it makes it, you have a different mentality when you walk into work. You don't look at work as, you look at it as a tool to help you build to what your future dreams are. And in my work history, after launching, I saw the importance of, I have a huge customer service background, over 10, 15 years. And I saw how important it is. It's different though, because in the past, I'm working for somebody else, different retailers, different times in my life, minimum wage.
Yeah.
And it's a different attitude versus this is mine. And then it makes you understand back then why bosses would get upset with certain little things, because they had that mindset that was, hey, So now I can bring all that into here and understand customers too, having quick responses, how you talk to them, how you reach out to them. And it may sound like common sense, but some people that have never had to work with the public may not say that's common sense. So all those things have really changed me into like how I look at this, and even future, and even especially attitude as well. There is an unpredictability about it. We manage and try to like plan out as much as we can with optimizing and pictures and working with the algorithm and title, but there is a level of unpredictability where at the end of the day, you do everything that you can to make yourself more visible to the person that's gonna book, and a lot of faith to get started something that level of unpredictability. But I grew up with I'm a pastor's kid, so if there's one thing that they've always taught me is the importance of having faith, and there's moments where a person that's as analytical as me can struggle with that unpredictability, but it's really cemented my faith a little bit more. Where at the end of the day, I have to bring that faith I grew up with and really trust the process. No, I can't control the outcome, but if I focus a lot on the effort and the process, it's gonna pay out. It's gonna pay out for me.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, you have to have faith, and the way we do it, we position it to win. You know what I mean? We position the listings to win. I remember, I think I was in Austin a few weeks ago, and we were just making tweaks back and forth, just literally going back and forth in real time. Like, okay, this listing's performing. These two right here, we need to do something about it. And I mean, we did what we needed to do. We made the adjustments, and then soon after, the bookings just poured in.
And when I take a look at because in that same building, there's other Airbnb operators. Some are brand new, and some have experience. Yeah. But I can see and feel the difference between how my properties are playing out versus theirs. And I think the biggest contributor to that is really you, because I have somebody in the background that's like, hey, let's make these changes, let's make these tweaks. Even getting coached on how to reach out to the property managers, how to talk to them. In their heads, they think we've been doing this for a long time, and I'm like, and that's just the result of proper coaching, that you can give off the appearance that this isn't my first rodeo, but it's just, that's really evidence of that you've been coaching us the right way.
Yeah, 100%. Thank you. Yeah, we're not new to this, right? You got to let them know. Like, and I said, you guys are just so experienced compared to some of the other operators that they're working with, who have a million questions and issues and things like that. So definitely a big testament there. So cool, man. So how does it feel that just everything's up and running? You trusted the process the entire time, literally by step, from company to fundability to market research to sourcing and acquisition, the property onboarding, interior design team, and now you guys are actually launched the property as a hosting guest. How does it feel that we did this?
Yeah, it feels good. There's a sense of accomplishment, and at this point right now, this is probably the most. It feels more passive than in the beginning. It wasn't as passive because we were more involved in acquiring with the property, and we went over there a few times to design it. But once you're up and running, it's semi-passive because it's most just you reaching out to the customers and making sure that you're responding fast, that you're answering the questions, that your process is as seamless as possible for them. But you're doing that from your phone. And from my phone, we've seen all the payouts, and then the cleaning crew, getting in contact with the clean crew. All that it's the most passive corporate business that I've ever done in my life.
He told me you guys logged in the bank account the other day and saw all the money there.
Yeah, I'm like, this is crazy. I was home. I wasn't even doing anything the process of the systems are pretty much taking care of themselves.
Yeah. No, that's awesome, man. Yeah, cool. So now you guys are up and running. You got 3 luxury listings in Nashville, Tennessee. What's the goal here now? What do you want to do with the business kind of moving forward?
My goal is to get 2 more properties. Long term, I would like to have different properties across Tennessee, Dominican Republic. There's a market there I think it's kind of untapped. There's a lot of areas in Dominican Republic, especially where my parents are from the northern section. There's a lot of areas where you can buy a property for maybe, let's say 150, 160. Yeah. and you can really turn that around because tourists love that area. So we've been thinking about for long term Dominican Republic and Texas, because that's another area that Houston. We always visit the Houston area, so
Yeah.
the area that I've been thinking about.
That's awesome, man. So continue to scale, continue to grow the business, establish the market there in Tennessee, but then also look at Dominican Republic and then Texas. I think Florida too, because you guys are always in the Caribbean right there. So
Yeah.
okay,
Another one.
yeah, no, that's awesome, man. Cool. Well, yeah, I'm super proud of you guys. Super excited to just see your success and kind of see everything come together. So congratulations there. It's really cool to see just the growth and the entire journey. And so.
We'll be making another video at that point. It's my 40K monthly profit.
Right. Yeah. We're going to be in Tennessee soon. We need to fly out there and shoot a video. So definitely think that'd be dope. So what's the craziest thing that you've seen on Airbnb so far? I always want to ask people that. What's the craziest thing they've seen on you?
So in our Airbnbs, we have cameras to monitor the hallways. And I don't know if it's crazy, but it's always funny. It's kind of funnier seeing the guests because it is the FOP. I see them struggle, and like this one lady, she's like, "Oh Jesus, let me watch the video." And then she's watching the video, she's breathing hard, like, okay. She's talking to herself. She's like, she's prepping herself up to open the door. She's like, okay, here it goes. And we're watching the recordings, cracking a butt, and lets us know that the adjustments that we made to the quick messages are actually working because people are they're looking at the videos and. Yeah, and it's just a simple thing, but I can't judge them because I did that over there. Like the elevators work with the FOP, and there were moments where I'm standing in the elevator, the doors are not closed, and I forgot you got to kind of scan the FOP to be able to the elevator can move. So I can't judge them too much on that, but and then the guests, like I was like, when they come in versus when they leave and you see them getting ready to go, it's just, because that area is close to Broadway. Yeah, so Broadway's like this big street where everybody's getting drunk, party buses. So it's funny to see that shift when they first check in and then when we're ready to go party.
Energy's totally different, huh?
Yeah, completely different.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, you'll see that too, especially with like, customers that are elderly. They might not be used to using the smart locks and stuff like that. Hard for them to figure out. So they're probably watching that video that you guys, sent to them on how to use it and all that. And
yeah, my wife wanted to do an app, and I was like, because we had one, he struggled. This was before we made any changes, and it was because of him we made changes because he struggled bad with the access code, with the smart locks. He struggled with the fob. He struggled with everything. Yeah, and then I'm gonna change his name. I'm calling Rafael. Yeah. So my wife was like, oh, let's have an app. And I'm like, you want another Rafael to show up with an app? Yeah. Like it's gonna be a mess. Like if he has to deal with the app, it's not gonna be as seamless as you think. Yeah. So, but I like those situations because I like them early because it allows us to tweak everything that later on, we've had future guests where it's just been easy for them because somebody already had issues early on where we can just make the quick changes to it.
Exactly. Just make small change your process,
yeah.
Move from there. So cool, man. Well, thank you for sharing that. One last question. So for anyone that's watching this, it's been on the fence about like getting an Airbnb mentor, but that's actually serious about starting and scaling their business, or maybe just getting their first coach. Like, what would you tell them? What would you say to somebody that's on the fence about like joining my program or working one-to-one together?
It's a huge difference. It's a huge difference to do things. Why go through the stress of making costly mistakes when you can invest into having somebody that has a process that's already tried, and having a higher chance of success. Yeah, it is different. Like if I was to venture into any other type of business, I would probably follow the same model of looking for, because it's not the same. The same versus you trying to figure it out on your own.
No, 100%. Awesome, man. Well, guys, hope this video is a blessing. If you do want to work with me one-to-one, you can click the link down below. And then, yeah, we can chat, set up a conversation and chat and talk to you about getting similar results. So it's awesome. I appreciate it, man. Thanks for all the kind words. And again, congratulations. Super proud of you guys.
No problem. Thanks.
Cool.